Thank you, Brendan. Well, Kerry Joseph has 3 carries for 66 yards in that first half. He struggled actually through one less completion than Ryan Dinwiddie. We thought he might struggle under all the pressure, but we didn't think that Kerry Joseph would. And the one thing about Saskatchewan all year, they've never let themselves get too high or too low when things go bad.
I think you got to look at this. The fact is, at one time, Kerry Joseph was 3 for 15, and that is not Kerry Joseph type numbers. But the fact is, here's the positive. 4 of his last 5 he completed, led him to a field goal by Kanji. That's the positive. It is a defensive game right now, as basically Winnipeg and Saskatchewan offensively have settled for 1 field goal. And of course, the big play when Ryan Dinwiddie threw that pass trying to get Stiegel or R.J. Franklin in that double coverage, and boom, James Johnson takes it back for a touchdown. So that's the thing, and I agree with Coach. I mean, had that not been thrown, Winnipeg might not be down right now.
But you made the point that Dinwiddie was going to the well once too often there, and he was picked by. And as we take a look at the statistics from that first half of football, not pretty from an offensive point of view, Chris.
Well, no, that's what you expect. I mean, if you take a look, it's been a defensive first half. I mean, Winnipeg's defense has really done a nice job. But the question is, can they contain Kerry Joseph? Because I think once Kerry Joseph starts taking off with that ball, he becomes more effective, but because he slows down the rush of the Bombers defensively, and that allows him to find the passing game. And on the other side of the coin, I think with Dinwiddie, he's doing a nice job. I'd like to see him get Charles Roberts involved a little bit more. If you don't want to hand him the ball off, slide him out. Put him in an open space, one-on-one coverage, see what he can do.
All right, sir, we're ready for the start of the second half. And Jamie Borum will kick it off. Stokes backpedaling to his goal line. On the return, a sidestep on Kitwana Jones. Gets away from McCullough. Now some blocks. Sideline, and finally forced out of touch by Scott Gordon at the 31-yard line. Ryan Dinwiddie, the gunslinger from Boise State, completed 8 of 17 passes in that first half, Chris, for 106 yards and 1 interception returned for a touchdown.
Well, obviously the big one right there, that's to Milt Stiegel. Here's the interesting fact: 106 yards completion, total for the first half, but 85 to Milt. So that means the rest of the team is accounting for 21 yards.
Dinwiddie ready to start the second half. Back to pass under pressure, knocked down and nearly intercepted. John Chick bats it down and bobbled it and nearly intercepted the football.
Oh, just a nice job of reacting to the play. Again, to get your quarterback comfortable, a little bit of a hitch pattern. 2 steps, get it out there, but look at that. Soft hands displayed by Chick as he tried to do almost like a ball over and almost came up with an interception.
John Chick called the most improved player in Saskatchewan this year by his head coach, Kent Austin. And another huge play on defense with a knockdown. 2nd and 10 from the 31. Dinwiddie rolling wide side against the blitz. Here they come. Chick forces a fumble. Recovered. Still loose. Saskatchewan football. Scott Schultz, the Moose Jaw native, like a hungry man on a cheeseburger, Chris.
But again, who do we talk about? 97, watch him come all the way around. I mean, that is running the corner the hard way, but determination, stays after it. Another big play by 97 of the Riders, who is quickly becoming a fan favorite. He might run for mayor if they keep playing like that.
John Chick forcing the fumble and celebrating with his teammates on a huge play to start this second half, but a challenge flag has been thrown at the Winnipeg sideline as Dinwiddie looks like he's reeling and getting more help from Bob Dice, the receivers coach.
Well, obviously the challenge could be if they...
Challenging the ruling on the field of fumble. I'll review the play.
Was he in the throwing motion? That's exactly what it's going to come down to. If he's throwing it, it's not a fumble, it's an incomplete pass. If he hasn't got that arm up high enough or he's not in a throwing motion, it is indeed a fumble. Saskatchewan ball.
Doug Barry had 5 points for Dinwiddie. As we take another look at the Chick play, the ball is back. There was no forward motion before it came out. That's what it looks like. But Doug Barry said, I want my young quarterback to first protect the football, manage the game, have a few drives and control his emotion.
Well, I think what they're throwing the flag about is you see the ball is gone, but the motion still continues through. He hasn't got the ball, but you see the arm come around, so it gives the impression that it was a throw, that the arm followed through. But the fact is, it looked like to me that the ball was gone before he follows through.
Right there, you can see it conclusively, I think, Chris, that the ball was in fact knocked loose before the arm motion went forward. The head of officiating, George Black, is in the review booth upstairs here at the Rogers Center. And on headset with Glenn Johnson. There's a look at the officials' booth upstairs at this stadium as they look at the same replays we've shown you. John Chick has a forced fumble if this stands, a tackle, and a pass knockdown so far in his rookie season in his Grey Cup debut.
Well, he's actually gotten stronger and stronger as he's on in the playoffs. He's been a force. Outstanding game, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Mark. 2 sacks last week. Let's take another look at that. And you see that Dinwiddie is trying to get that ball. Now, where the ball is right now, it's behind. It hasn't started to follow through. But the arm does come through, and that is what I believe the Bomber bench saw. They saw the end of this. Now, watch at the end of this, Mark, how the arm still follows through, but the ball is gone already.
Well, we've seen several angles of the play on Dinwiddie, who has been under enormous pressure, and Doug Barry throwing the challenge flag in an attempt to maintain possession. This is a huge turnover with the ball inside the 15-yard line.
Well, I think it's a smart call. I mean, you got to take all your opportunities, and if it comes down to this one play and you haven't challenged it, you'll never forgive yourself. So definitely, it's a good challenge by Coach Barry.
Glenn Johnson back on the field with his decision.
Upon review, there is no conclusive evidence that the quarterback's arm started forward. Therefore, ruling on the field stands.
It's the right call. It's a forced fumble and a turnover generated by this young man, John Chick.
Well, the second big one is James Johnson in the first half took an interception back for a touchdown, and now inside the 15-yard line, actually on the 10-yard line, they get a fumble recovery.
A huge turn of events to start this second half with Saskatchewan now. First and goal from the 10-yard line. Dinwiddie giving up his second turnover of this Grey Cup. A double tight end formation for the Riders. Joseph up behind O'Day at center. Handing off. Noah, great play action fake. Throwing to the end zone. And it's incomplete. Andy Fantu was the nearest receiver. And the quarterback, Joseph, wisely got rid of it.
Well, let's take a look at Kerry Joseph and where he's put the ball. He's obviously got the interception. He threw that errant pass and intercepted by Greg Moss when he went deep. But everything that he's starting to work is short and underneath. And one of the things that's happened with Saskatchewan is they like to go a little deeper with their throws and open up the middle after they do that.
5 receivers set on second and goal from the 10. 5 receivers downfield. The crossing route is in behind Fantu. A poorly thrown ball low and behind, and Kerry Joseph is upset with himself as they do not capitalize on the turnover with a touchdown.
The second incompletion is a result of the pressure on the first play. Fantu's just going to run. Fantu just comes across. He's open. Again, the ball's thrown behind, but the previous play, the great pressure by the Bomber defense forced Kerry Joseph to get rid of the ball again. He's starting to feel the pressure even when it's not there. This time he just misthrows it.
Luka Kanji now with his attempt from the 17-yard line. The left hash marks. He's good on 1 of 2 in the first half. Kanji with the ball up and good. So the Rough Riders have a field goal on the turnover to start this second half.
Santa's arms are going to be full this year because Chrysler Canada is offering tons of great gifts. Take advantage of our Canadian consumer price adjustments with total allowances of up to $6,250, or get your first 3 payments free on most 07s and select 08s during the 3 for Free event, only at your Chrysler Jeep Dodge retailer.
Make the change from change with the new Quick Pay Tim card from Tim Hortons. Convenient and reloadable, it's the easy way to pay. Ask your server to get started today.
Faster than a decongestant, more powerful than a stuffy nose. It's Breathe Right nasal strips. Come on, honey. My allergies keep me up every night. How's this gonna help?
The same way it helps my snoring every night.
Until you try for yourself, it's hard to believe the instant nasal congestion relief that comes from Breathe Right strips. Nasal congestion limits airflow, but Breathe Right's patented reflex action gently lifts open nasal passages to help you get more air. Breathe better, sleep better with Breathe Right. Original tan or clear for sensitive skin.
Capacity crowd at the Rogers Centre here tonight as the Grey Cup returns to Toronto for the first time in 15 years. The CFL on CBC and HD this evening. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders have scored 13 points in a row, Chris. They come from behind and now have a 6-point lead. Ryan Dinwiddie, the young Californian who grew up watching the Sacramento Gold Miners as a kid, watching David Archer at quarterback, fell in love with the CFL game, but what a baptism by fire here in his first Grey Cup. Play action, throwing a bubble screen at the backside. It's complete, and the Blue Bombers' Terrence Edwards had the receiving lead in the CFL until the last week of the season as a catch in a gain of 6. Second down.
Well, I think it's really important, and it was mentioned at halftime by the panel, that they're looking too much at number 85, Milt Stegall. And when you have guys like Edwards and you're not utilizing these receivers, you know, you deserve to lose. You've got 3 1,000-yard receivers. Make them all weapons.
Luke Mullender, fresh meat on that D-line, giving Scotty Schultz a breather on second down. Play action. Dinwiddie throwing downfield. It's complete to R.J. Franklin. He busts 2 tackles. Now he's on his horse and pulled down from behind at the 40 as Sean Lucas makes the tackle for the Rough Riders. R.J. Franklin, the sophomore out of the University of Windsor, had 10 catches for more than 100 yards in the regular season against this team.
Well, he just again finds a hole in front of the safety, Scott Gordon, and the ultimate compliment paid to R.J. Franklin by Milt Stegall, who said he's going to be the next Stegall in this offense. He's an exciting young receiver who's got a great future ahead of him.
And he's got his first Grey Cup catch. Double tight end formation, but he's got something going here. A gain of 29 on the last play. Play action in the deep drop by Dinwiddie. Looking downfield, he's got a man open. It's Derek Armstrong. Armstrong's caught it. And he's tackled by James Johnson, but there's a flag on the play, and the indication is holding against the Bombers.
Well, he had all kinds of time to wait for this play to develop as Armstrong came across the middle deep. But in that protection, a flag was thrown, and it's going to come back as holding is going to be the call.
Winnipeg number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Well, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, Andrew Green, with the penalty flag. You just see him right there. He's firing off doing an aggressive block, and you see the hand right there. You see that hand on the outside shoulder. Great call by the official.
Barry's Livet pacing the Bomber bench. First and 20 to the call. Dinwiddie, short drop in the shotgun, pumping. Now looks short side, throwing downfield for Derek Armstrong. He's got it! Touchdown, Blue Bombers! Armstrong, physical against Johnson, and the first offensive touchdown of the Grey Cup.
And Mark, we talked about the fact that you have to utilize the other receivers, Edwards and Armstrong. These guys can flat out play. When you got a height advantage, Derek Armstrong is 6'2". He is a big physical receiver, and that's exactly the kind of match you want to get. But I love what Dinwiddie did. I love the double pump fake. He just holds on to the ball. He freezes the defense, gets to the outside, buys himself more time, and goes deep.
Oh, he's a gunslinger, and look at that. He's got some moxie and some confidence now on that Bomber sideline. Westwood with the convert, and the Bomber, Derek Armstrong, has the Grey Cup's first offensive touchdown. Finally.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Grand Caravan, the ultimate family room on wheels.
My mom doesn't really know you.
No, we just met.
Why does she want a second onion from you?
Actually, your mom wants a second opinion on her investments.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, office.
We were just talking onions.
Wherever your investments are, second opinion. A free no-obligation review to make sure you're invested in what's right for you. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Visit the world's most spectacular bay where Acapulco and the world come together. Sunwing offers one-week vacation packages to Acapulco for only $759. Get more. With Sunwing, experience the difference. Mexico, beyond your expectations.
Ode to the fresh toasted Subway chicken and bacon ranch sandwich. Seasoned chicken, smoky bacon, processed Monterey cheddar, creamy ranch. In the quiz show where hunger's the million-dollar question, this is the sizzling hot answer. Subway. Eat fresh.
Ryan Dinwiddie has something to be excited about in this Grey Cup. Kit Cartwright with some encouragement, and we're starting to see some smiles on the faces of the offensive people in that Winnipeg organization. A 50-yard touchdown bomb. Dinwiddie, Eric Armstrong, and now Corey Holmes awaits the kickoff from Troy Westwood. A deep kick to the 8. Holmes straight up the hash marks. And stuffed by Adrian Baird on special teams for the Blue Bombers.
Well, I really love what they did here. I mean, Ryan Dinwiddie, he's starting to improvise right now. Now, there's John Chick, and he's just going to drop back into coverage. And when he does that, he effectively becomes another linebacker. So it's only a three-man rush. Guys, he's going to pump fake, and he freezes the three rushing guys. Look how he gets to the outside. That is so smart. Now, freeze it at the end of this, because this is a thing of beauty. Take a look at that, how he uses his hand, Armstrong, to keep Johnson away from the coverage. That gives him the separation. That's the result, a touchdown.
And the fourth lead change of the Grey Cup. Wes Cates into traffic. Doug Brown brings him down at the 30-yard line. And James Johnson, who was the best defensive back in Saskatchewan this year, gets beaten by a physical receiver, and now they go back to the ground game.
That's a nice play to get Wes Cates back in, but take a look at this again. I mean, I love that. That is the experience, Mark, of a star receiver. The big man, Armstrong, using that right arm to keep James Johnson's away, just to get him enough separation to come up with the catch.
2nd and 7. Sam Young into the game with an extra defensive back for Winnipeg. Joseph with the draw. Hebert drags him to the turf. It's a horse collar looking tackle, but there are no flags.
And one of the things that Greg Marshall, the defensive coordinator, told me is, if Kerry Joseph starts to be successful running with the football, I will put a spy on him, and I may just very well bring Kyrus Hebert, 23. Now watch as he comes over there and makes that play. He's got great speed. He's a safety. He tracks him down. Now Saskatchewan's saying that it might have been a caller. They were looking for the flag. It wasn't. Good job, good hustle, and great smart playing by the coordinator, Greg Marshall.
Making the tackle 1 yard shy of the first down and forcing Saskatchewan to turn the ball over on this punt by Jamie Borum. High punt. He angled it but couldn't get it out of bounds. Stokes backpedaling inside his 30. Keith Stokes looking for a sliver, a seam, anything, and nothing to be had as Chris Zarka and company are in on the tackle. Just a 3-yard return on that 44-yard kick. A reminder, next year the Grey Cup moves east to La Belle Province in Montreal, and tickets are available for that big game as it returns to Montreal for the second time since 2001. And the Bombers go back on offense. That thrilling 50-yard touchdown pass from Dinwiddie to Derek Armstrong, who lit up the Riders on the Labor Day Classic. And the play is whistled dead, and flags fly.
Procedure, Winnipeg, number 66. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Alexander Gauthier, the left tackle. He's leaning out of his stance, trying to anticipate that count. What a find he's been. A great pickup. Played with Calgary last year. Really solidified that backside for Winnipeg.
Big man out of Laval. 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15, and again more whistles and some debris on the field. Looks like one of those mini footballs. As Boris, the line judge, tosses it to the sideline. Dinwiddie in the shotgun in the silent count. Back to pass, firing, and incomplete. Charles Roberts, the intended receiver on the play, and he couldn't hold on. Charles Roberts was telling us yesterday, Chris, that back in the season when Dinwiddie came into the huddle to replace Kevin Glenn when he hurt his knee in Hamilton, he came in to call his first play, and as he lifted his wristband to look at the play, his hand was shaking. He was so nervous, and the guys in the huddle made a joke to try to calm him down. But he said last week in the East Final, when he came into that huddle, there was no hand shaking. He was 4 for 4 in that game and looked very composed. He had a shaky start to this Grey Cup. Fumble to start the second half, and then a big touchdown pass. Here's the blitz. Dinwiddie loading up downfield for Stiegel. It's intercepted. James Johnson has his second pick of the football game, atoning for his blown coverage on the last series.
Well, they try to hit Milt Stiegel down the seam. And James Johnson, as you say, beaten by Armstrong earlier for a touchdown, atones for that. Little blitz. Fred Perry drops around the middle, a little twist in the middle, but that ball just hung up there. And that allowed Johnson to come out of that zone coverage and make that interception.
James Johnson with his second interception of the football game, and the second turnover in this second half committed by the Bomber offense. First down, Saskatchewan at midfield. Play action. The outlet pass to Andy Fantuz. Cam Hall rides him to the turf. But the big kid from Chatham, Ontario, will have a Saskatchewan first down. And one in for Andy Fantuz. 22 yards shy of 1,000 in this just his second year, Chris.
Well, play action, and that allows just that extra split second as Ike Charlton's coming on the blitz to get the ball to Fantuz. Fantuz has quickly become one of the toughest guys to bring down after the catch.
Really filled the void in the second half of the season when Matt Dominguez was injured. First down, Joseph firing, incomplete to a diving DJ Flick at the near sideline.
Well, again, we've seen a lot of this, and what I'm seeing so far through 2.5 quarters is the fact that they are determined to leave Kerry Joseph in the pocket. He's been playing drop back. Watch the fighting out there. A little bit of hand fighting with Flick and Malbrough.
Second and 10. Fantuz with just 2 catches in this football game for 32 yards. Brown off the ball quickly. Pressure on Joseph. He gets away. Joseph with time. Downfield. It's caught by Yo Murphy. Cutting back across the middle. And the veteran has a first down to the 20.
Mark, I don't think this ball was for him. I think this ball was for Michael Palmer. Michael Palmer's coming one way. It looked like Yo Murphy cut back against the grain into the middle of the football field as we see a bomber down.
Like Charlton, Chris.
Just going to roll to the left again. Avoids the pressure. Gets to the outside. Now he's got to worry about that line. He's being called that. But look at that. As you see that, he just sits there. 2 receivers on top of each other. Palmer thought the ball was coming to him. Yo Murphy on the go took that.
Ike Charlton down. Yo Murphy, one of Kerry Joseph's best friends, with a big pickup of 21 yards. And the Riders are threatening again.
Help! Help! He's hurting me! Help! He's hurting me! Somebody come, please. He's hurting me. Help me. He's hurting me.
So delicious. They make good people do bad things. 5 kinds of bread baked daily. 11 toppings. 25 varieties. Mr. Sab.
proud sponsor of the CFL.
So let's head over to Cleveland where they're getting ready for kickoff. What do you got for us, Eddie?
Guys, we all know the importance of home field, but what about home field consistency? This is grass taken from the 40-yard line, and this from the 42 where the stems are longer. Now, this could be the result of a dull lawnmower blade or maybe just uneven fertilizer distribution. Let's see how this will affect the game. Back to you.
Fertilizer.
Well, it is a game of inches, right? Soft land vertical.
The first Prairie Grey Cup is close, a 1-point lead for the Bombers. Ike Charlton moved his way off the field on his own steam and looks like he's not too badly shaken up, Chris.
Well, you can see right there as he tries to make the play and he goes down and brings him down, goes down hard. Doesn't look too serious. He just doesn't get up. But let's watch the play. This is what I'm talking about. As he gets away from the pressure initially. And I'm going to tell you to freeze it right there, guys. Now, here is Michael Palmer. That's who he's looking for. But look who comes across and snags that ball. That's Joel Murphy.
In the red zone. Joseph again escapes pressure and he'll run. Cam Hall spying Joseph. He beats that tackle and moves inside the 15-yard line. Scrambling again away from Winnipeg pressure.
And that's what you have to have. And that is the extra element that Kerry Joseph gives you. Watch as he looks downfield, decides not to pull it down. Now, because of that, he freezes the defense. That allows him to pull the ball down and pick up something with his legs.
Sam Young, the former BC Lion, is in for Ike Charlton, who has been blanketing coverage of Andy Fantuz throughout this football game. Might Fantuz have a bit more breathing room now with Charlton out for 3 plays at least?
I think that's a great call, Mark. And if you're a quarterback and you see a substitution coming who hasn't played, you might want to go after him.
Joseph with a timeout to his bench now to converse with Ken Miller and take advantage of this red zone opportunity. During the regular season, the Rough Riders scored touchdowns on 70% of their chances inside the opponent's 20. There's Greg Marshall with instructions to his defense as they try to make a stand.
And remember, they were in the red zone earlier in the first half when Wes Cates fumbled that and it was recovered in the end zone by the injured Ike Charlton.
Joseph, who had just 7 completions and 20 attempts in the first half, has completed 6 of his last 10 passes and has made some pretty good halftime adjustments. Charlton now can only watch. Looks like he's okay to come back. The Rough Riders with a 5-receiver set. 2nd and 3. Joseph handing off. Cates head down, crashing. He needed to get to the 10-yard line for the first down. And this will be close as Doug Brown again makes the stop for Winnipeg.
It looks like they're going to mark it about a yard short. So we're going to have an interesting call right here. They're going to bring the sticks in. But if he had to get to the 10, he's not there.
Wes Cates, who has been a remarkably unselfish player, coming back to his team with that fractured left foot. He missed the last 4 games of the season, including the West semifinal. Hasn't practiced, Chris, in the last 2 weeks just to protect that foot. They're going to be short and they're going to go for it as they bring Zarka and his running mate Neil Hughes out onto the field.
Now remember, Montreal tried this late in the game and the Bomber defense stepped up and stuffed them and eventually won that game because of that play.
Yeah, 2 big stuffs in that East semifinal against Montreal. They'll load up the line of scrimmage. 3rd down gamble. Joseph, the sneak, diving across the 10. And this will depend on the Bombers think they've made a stand. Joseph, though, thinks he's crossed the line.
Mark, I definitely, if I was a quarterback, and I don't know why you try and run over Doug Brown and Jerome Hayward. Look, there's submarine right there. A lot of times your quarterback will take a step to the left, find the bubble, find the opening. That's where you got to go.
Looked like he got over the 10-yard line, Chris. But the spot is behind. This is going to be very close. It's not enough. The Bombers will turn over on downs, and a challenge flag has been thrown immediately by Kent Austin at the Saskatchewan bench.
And you can challenge 3rd down plays as far as where the ball should be. It's a forward progress, and it all comes down to the spot. Saskatchewan doesn't feel like they got the right spot on the call. They thought they got to the 10. We'll find out as they're going to review this play.
So Glenn Johnson will go under the hood, look at all of the angles to try to determine the furthest forward progress of that football.
Well, you saw Doug Brown earlier coming off the field, shaking his hands at the Saskatchewan bench, saying, "Don't try it over me."
Is challenging the spot on the play. I'll review it.
But this Bomber football team, throughout the course of the playoffs, have been impermeable in those third down gambles.
Well, the triangle of terror. Look at those guys right there. I mean, when you're talking about Haywood, Brown, and Simpson in the middle, those guys will make you pay. And I think they stopped him. You see him come over the top, and they're not allowing. But the last
here,
stretch,
this is the angle here to watch.
Oh, it looks like he got over.
It looks like the ball is over the yard stripe for sure.
Yep, from that angle, that's a great angle.
There's a look with the virtual first down line in the picture. Joseph looks from this angle to be over top of the line.
You know what? The one that was shown earlier, that's a great angle, but it looks like his second effort got him over the 10. We stretched over and broke that plane, and that's all he had to do because it is forward progress.
Here's the reverse angle. And again, you can't see the football in that shot. Cam Hall in the way, and right away you can see Bill Hagens, the umpire, spotting the ball shy of the yard line.
Well, you can see the defensive linemen doing exactly what they're told to do, and that is submarine. And as the offensive linemen call over the defensive linemen, the linebackers come over the top, and they're the ones responsible for making the play. Well, we had that one look, Mark. I thought that one looked pretty good. Where we saw it.
Well, you could see the football on that one sideline shot. And this will be a difficult decision for Glenn Johnson.
Well, it has to be 100% visible to overturn the call.
Craig Marshall told us yesterday this game will be won on the line of scrimmage. He said, particularly with my defensive line. My defensive line has to control the game. That's a big quarterback to stop.
And they don't have too bad of an offensive line either, Mark. I mean, I just think that I don't know if I'd want to run against Doug Brown and Haywood.
Jim Daly up with the replay officials. And George Black with the headset on. He's the head of officiating in the CFL in direct contact with Glenn Johnson, who's under the hood.
Well, let's take a look at this one here. Now, it looks like he got on that one. If you can freeze it, guys, and bring it back, it looks like his initial forward progress was over that 10-yard line.
This is a big call.
Upon review, the ball broke the plane of the major yard stripe, crossing the first down marker. It's first down, Saskatchewan.
That's the right call.
Hey, Mark, that's the reason you have instant replay right there. In a game of this magnitude, the Grey Cup game, get it right. Don't let something come back to bite you in the backside and say, you know what, I knew we were over and we weren't. I just love that when that happens like that.
What a critical call, though, in a one-point Grey Cup as the Bomber defense comes back out onto the field. And it's a first down, goal to go for Saskatchewan. Winning the challenge. Kent Austin winning his challenge in this half after Doug Barry lost his on the fumble by Ryan Dinwiddie.
And that comes down to trust, Mark, that your quarterback's going to come over and tell you, I did break the plane.
First and goal, Saskatchewan at the 10. And now Winnipeg has thrown the challenge flag. Challenge flag has been thrown by Doug Barry.
I've never seen a challenge on a challenge, especially when the challenge has been overturned. It may be just a way of getting the officials over too.
But that's a penalty now.
Yes.
Doug Barry is arguing the point with Glenn Johnson right now. saying that when the whistle blew, the ball was back.
Yes, he's saying that they had stopped Kerry Joseph, and then the whistle went, and then he moved over across that line.
Trying to challenge an unchallengeable aspect and delayed the game. Therefore, have to apply a delay of game foul. Winnipeg.
That's the right call by the official as Doug Barry challenges a challenge. Can't do it. Ken Austin knew that. He's pointing right away saying you can't do that. And so the ball will be moved half the distance to the goal line. It's on the 5 now. First and goal from the 5. 2 huge setbacks for Doug Barry's Blue Bombers here in such a close football game where offense has been so hard to come by.
And remember, they made that change in the rules because earlier this season, coaches were throwing that other flag out so they could get the official over and go, oh, I'm sorry, didn't know that. Pick it back up, but they still got an opportunity to talk to the official.
That went out in bulletin number 7 this year from George Black, as I recall. And now it's first and goal from the 5, Saskatchewan. Joseph up behind his center, Jeremy O'Day. Short drop, throwing the corner to the end zone. Down. DJ Fleck, the intended receiver, and Anthony Malbrough with a huge defensive play for Winnipeg.
Boy, that's about as tight as coverage as you can get. And they try to put that ball in the corner of the end zone. DJ Fleck knows that. It was a good thrown ball, but the challenge of coverage was met. He's beat initially. And you know what? Very fortunate that he did not run into the receiver because he's not playing the ball right here. He just throws his hands out in desperation.
Second and goal from the 5. Holmes checks in for Cates. Motion, Holmes to the far side. Joseph in the shotgun, under pressure, throwing it for the end zone and throwing it away. Fantu's the nearest receiver, but again, pressure from Winnipeg put Joseph on his heels, and he can't put it in the end zone.
Well, you got to give credit to Tom Canada and the defensive ends because they are coming up the field hard. That Kerry Joseph has to stay in the pocket. There's no opportunity for him to get to the outside because right up the field. Look at Tom Canada. Look where he's playing. He's playing to the outside, taking away that opportunity or the option of Joseph to get to the outside.
Luka Kanji good on 2 of 3 attempts. This one straight down the field from the 12. Right down the middle. Fantu's the pin. Kanji is up and good. So 3 more points off turnovers. But the Saskatchewan offense yet to score a touchdown.
I remember, Mark, last week in the West Final, 16 points off turnovers got them the victory. They got 13 today.
And with the field goal, Saskatchewan moving back in front in the 5th lead change of this Grey Cup by 2 points. Joining us up in the booth in this second half, the commissioner of the CFL, Mark Cohan. Mark, good to have you with us.
Good to be here, guys. It's awesome.
What a great year. Great game it's turning out to be now in the second half. But what a great season. Attendance up, ratings up, and you led the league in fines.
Yeah, I had to make some mark this season. It's been a great season, though, and as you said, the fans are what makes it.
Dinwiddie on play action on first down. He wants to go deep, got pressure, and throws the ball incomplete to the far sideline, intended for Jamie Stoddard.
You know, and Mark, I was wondering about next year. We know there's a lot of talk about it. I knew this was going to come. The arbitration process where a guy gets thrown out by you, and then they take it to the CFLPA, and then they get to play in the next game. Is this something we're going to address to make sure maybe we can get a decision a lot quicker?